Hey beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I am Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today, as you can see, I'm starting off a little bit different, and that is because I'm gonna do kind of a brush battle video. I don't think it's really a brush battle, but I'm going to be trying, let me just show you real quick, hold on. I was recently sent this really beautiful and generous package from Stilazzi. Look how sweet it is. Let me just really quick show you a few things. They sent this card with my name on it, and I love this little stamp seal. And they also sent me a handwritten card, which I love that. I love when brands, when they send PR and things, they are actually like handwritten notes and just so thoughtful. So thank you so much to Stilazzi for this package and for the card. They're like little bouquets of brushes. Like, how cute is that? I got bouquets of brushes, and I feel like it was perfect timing because it's Mother's Day's coming up, and you know, I think of like often get bouquets of flowers from my husband and my kids, and Stilazzi sent me bouquets of brushes. So anyways, so what they sent is actually two of their brush collections. So one of them is the Studio Series collection, and it says these are ultra soft bristles, 100% synthetic fibers. These ones are handmade and vegan, and these are the ones with the white handles. And then they also sent me their Artisan Luxe collection, which is a luxurious pro quality 100% natural hair. These are also handmade, and these are the ones with the black handles. And the reason why I said this, I was saying brush battle, is because I wanted to be able to just demonstrate them for you guys on video, and since there's so many brushes, I thought that it might be fun to just use the like Luxe collection on one side and the Artisan collection on another side, do my face, try to do it the same, and just kind of see what I think of as many of the brushes as I can. That way it can be as helpful to you guys as I can, and then you guys can kind of decide like which brush collection did you like best, which one do you think applied the products best. Of course, it kind of comes down to personal preference. I would say that I more so prefer natural hair brushes for the majority of my makeup. There are some brushes that I prefer to be synthetic, but for the most part, I think I lean towards natural hair brushes the most. But I know that there are a lot of people who prefer cruelty-free or you know, vegan products and brushes as well, and so it's nice they have the option as well. It's just really nice because I'm looking down the price list, and all of these are really very affordable in my opinion. Of the Artisan collection, the highest priced brushes are $15 and $13, so that's as high as they go for that. And then for the Studio Series, the highest as well is there's one brush for $15, one for $13, and one for $14. The rest are all under that, but the Artisan one has a lot more that are in the $15 range. So anyways, I find them to be fairly affordable, so if they're really good quality, that is a plus. So I'm really excited to give them a try, and as well, because I don't want the focus to be on products, I'm just using products that you've seen me use before, products that are tried and true, that I know are good, I know that work, so I don't have any issues with like trying to do a first impressions of something and it not working with these brushes. These are products that I know that works. Additionally, if this video gets too long, I might go ahead and break it up into two videos. If not, I'll keep it all together in one video. I'm gonna go ahead and get to my face first, and what I'm going to be using today is the Lancome Tint Idol Stick Foundation. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do the Artisan collection on this side, my right side, and then the Studio collection on my left side. And from the Artisan collection, I'm going to be using the Buff number L313 brush, and this one is a $15 brush, and the description says apply, build, and buff cream or powder foundations, a great natural hair Kabuki style brush. I'm already getting a little bit of hair. There is a bit of shedding I'm experiencing, so I don't know if it would have been better to wash these beforehand, but that is something to note. I do know that with natural hair brushes, in my experience, there does tend to be a lot more shedding. I'm not quite sure why that is, but that is just something that I've experienced. And this one has quite a bit more shedding than I've really noticed before with any other brushes, but then again, a lot of the Kabuki brushes I use are synthetic brushes. most of the natural hair brushes I use are for like blush or my contour. I haven't used a Kabuki brush that was natural hair, so I don't know, maybe that's typical, but I'm going to assume that like once I wash it, that might get some of the loose hairs out. It probably won't hopefully reoccur with so much shedding after that, but it is really, it's so soft. I love the way it applied this foundation. It just looks so natural, so beautiful, and it feels so soft on the skin. So I like it. What can I say? I still like it. Shedding aside, I think it's a great brush. Moving on to the Studio series, I'm going to be using the Kabuki flat face brush, which is number S409. This is a $13 brush, and its description says apply, build, and buff cream and liquid foundations for medium to full coverage, flawless finish. Fairly similar to the other brush, so we're going to go ahead and go right into it. Alright, so I do feel like this one definitely gives a more fuller coverage application. Now of course these are the same exact, I use the same exact foundation, so the coverage is going to be fairly similar, but coverage really depends on application. So sometimes you can use, like if you use a beauty blender, you'll get a little bit lighter coverage. If you use a brush, you'll get a little bit more fuller coverage, and then depending on what kind of brush you use, you can get fuller or less coverage. With the natural brush that I used on the right side of my face, it definitely gave a lighter, I feel like a lighter coverage because it's more of a fluffier brush. It really just lightly sweeps and blends the foundation in, whereas this one is a lot more of a dense brush, so it really just helps the product just glide around my face and kind of stay more put on my face, I guess. I don't know how to explain it really why, but it just does. It definitely feels like it gives a fuller coverage, and so yeah, it's a really nice brush, really soft, no shedding with this one. I actually like it a lot. It's a little bit smaller of a shape, like the shape of it this way diameter wise is smaller than I'm used to for a Kabuki brush. Normally I'm used to a Kabuki brush more the size of the natural one here, but just with the density of this one. So that threw me off a little bit, but overall it still applied just as well, and I kind of feel like I like the way this side, the Studio side, applied it a little bit better, just with that little bit of a fuller coverage. But I do really like that natural brush. It felt so soft on the skin, and I think I just need to play with it more. It's not what I'm used to, but I love the way it felt, and I'm excited to keep using it. But I definitely love to know what you guys think, which side you think looks best. If you can tell, it's probably hard to tell, but I'm looking in person and I can see more of the difference than maybe you guys can. I'm not quite sure, but I'd love to have your guys' feedback on which side you think looks best or which brush you think you would prefer. I'm gonna go ahead and see about putting a poll up here in the video, and I'd love for you guys to answer the poll. I think that would be a fun way to make this video interactive and fun, for you guys to you know, kind of play along with me and answer the poll which side you think was best for foundation. Alright, moving on to concealer, I'm gonna be using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, Large Fluff, the L224, and this is a $15 brush, and it's described as ultra soft shadow brush, ideal for setting the under eye, applying a base color, or highlighting. So it can be used for a variety of different things, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a go with concealer and see how that goes. I feel like this would do a really good job with concealers. And if it doesn't work, I do have my finger blending sponge that I'm gonna go in with if I need to. Okay, this is actually doing a really, really good job. I am not mad at it at all. I think it blended everything in really well, and I love a brush that's definitely multi-purpose, that you can use this with the liquid concealer like I did. It did a wonderful job. It definitely does feel like it'd be perfect for a setting under the eyes. It is such a soft brush. I had no shedding with this brush at all, so that's really nice. And yeah, I like it. So let's go ahead and move on to the other eye with the other brush, and this is the Duo Fiber Precision Stipple brush, which is the number S301. And this is a $9 brush and is described as easily apply and blend creams and liquids, ideal for light under eye concealer and strobing. So this one is made for under eye concealer, so we're gonna give it a go. It does say light under eye concealer, and I kind of packed on a lot, but we'll see. I'm gonna take this concealer down a little bit because I used too much for this brush. Okay, yeah, so I do recommend going in a lot lighter if you're using a stippling brush. I'm usually pretty familiar with stippling brushes or dual fiber brushes, stippling brushes. And I love them. I think they're great brushes. But wow, I wasn't really prepared for this. So I might need to go in with my finger sponge, but I'm just gonna continue to work with it and see if that helps. Okay, it is blending in now, finally better. The thing with stippling brushes is that compared to natural hair brushes, is the natural hair is going to definitely absorb more product. Maybe that answers my question about the fuller coverage versus the not fuller coverage with the natural hair. But the natural hair is going to absorb a little bit of product, whereas the synthetic hairs won't absorb as much. So I definitely used probably a lot more product than I needed to on my eyes on this side. As you can see, the coverage, it definitely looks a lot brighter on this side and a lot more fuller coverage. It did take me a lot longer to fully blend in, which was fine. It still worked in the end, but yeah, that's just something to note. You don't need a ton of product. It's not going to absorb as much. It's going to give you a really full coverage, and it's going to go farther, because as you can see, I even brought some of that concealer down on my chin just to kind of disperse some of the product that was still in the brush that the brush wasn't absorbing. So there is that. So now that we're done with concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys choose again. Let me know which brush you thought worked better, which one looked better, which one you think you would prefer better for concealer or just in general. I'm so excited to hear what you guys think, see what you guys think about these brushes. My personal opinion, I think they both did a really great job. I don't think one versus the other is necessarily better. Of course, this one wasn't necessarily for concealer, and this one did say it was for concealer, but I think they both did a good job, just kind of a different job. So it really just depends on your preference and what you're looking for your brush to do and what kind of coverage you want to get. Alright, so next up I'm going to go ahead and set under the eyes, and then after that I will set all over the face. And what I'm going to use is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. This is one of my favorites, so I know it works really well. And then for the brushes, I'm going to go ahead and go back to using that large Fluff brush, since it does say it's specifically used for setting under the eyes. So we're going to do that, and then we'll move on to the other side. Alright, this definitely works so beautifully with powders. It's so soft and definitely has that kind of luxe feeling. I think I would prefer something slightly bigger for setting my under eyes, but I do like how fluffy this is and just how gentle and soft it is. It feels so nice. Alright, next up for my left side, I'm going to be using the Studio Series Face Primer S502 brush. Now this brush is described as a multifunctional brush that works great for applying primer as well as setting your under eye or contouring. So even though it says Face Primer brush, it did say you can use it for setting your under eye, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and try it out for. Alright, which brush do you think worked the best? I would say that I think I would personally prefer the Artisan Luxe brush, just because it's a little bit fluffier. I feel like it was a little bit quicker to kind of get the powder up and on there. I would prefer it to be a larger brush. I like to set my under eye. Actually, I like to set my under eye with a sponge and powder, but there are times where I do use a brush, and I typically use one that's a little bit bigger than this, but I like how fluffy it is. Whereas the Studio Face Primer brush was just a little bit too dense for me, and also it's kind of smaller too, but it did apply it really nicely. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it definitely is one, I feel like again gave fuller coverage. And I will say that even though I feel like normally I like natural hair brushes better, I am leaning towards liking the way this side of my face looks the best. I'm kind of surprised by that. I just feel like it looks nicer. It's not like it's a crazy difference from this side, but just looking at my face up close, I'm really liking the way this side of my face looks best. I don't know if that's translating on camera or how you guys will see it. So that's just my thoughts in the moment, but I can't wait to hear what you guys think and how it looks to you guys. But with that, let's go ahead and move on to setting the rest of my face. I'm noticing there isn't as many options for the Artisan Luxe brushes. So what I'm gonna do to set my face for the Artisan Luxe side is go ahead and use again the Buff L313 brush, because this one did say that it is good to build buff cream or powder foundations, and it is a Kabuki style brush that you can use, you know, with powders. Okay, and I'm really liking the way this is setting my face. There's a lot less shedding. Actually, I didn't get any shedding this time, so I would say that this natural hair brush works a lot better with powder products rather than cream products, which, if I think about it, a lot of the times when I'm using cream or liquid products, I am using synthetic, and my preference for natural hair is with powder products. So that's where I think these ones are going to shine. It feels so soft on the skin, and I'm loving it. It's set really well, and I felt like it kind of helped build up a little bit more coverage that it was lacking with the foundation with this brush. So there is that. Now for the Studio series, I'm going to be using the Duo Fiber Large Powder Brush. This is the S306 brush, and this one is a $15 brush. It is described as feather soft brush that's ideal for creating a light and natural finish with loose or pressed powder. Alright, and this brush is lovely. It obviously gives a really quick application. I'm really familiar, like I said, with Duo Fiber brushes, so I'm very used to them. This swept the powder really well over my face. The thing with Duo Fiber brushes and powder products is that they actually give a more lightweight application, whereas compared to with a cream or liquid product, you're going to get a more fuller coverage application, if that makes sense. But with powders, you're going to get more of a softer, gentler application, and so this one kind of swept on really lightweight and really nice, which I like, and so I feel like it's kind of like my face is evening out now a little bit. I got a little bit more coverage here where I needed it, and a little less coverage on this side now that I didn't need as much coverage. Just kind of balancing out a little bit. But I, again, would love to hear your thoughts. Which brush do you think did a better job? Or which one would you prefer to use? Alright, moving on to contour, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Cocoa Contour. Now for the Artisan Luxe side, I'm going to be using the Cheek and Chisel L309 brush. And this is a $13 brush, and it's described as it's designed to apply and buff powder products. Perfect brush for contour and bronzer. Now this is more of a round, kind of fluffy, domed-like brush. I'm more used to and prefer, I guess I should say, an angled brush for my contour, which I just find them quicker, easier. This one's definitely going to give you that more precise chiseled look, which is not something I always go for. So let's go ahead and give it a go. I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, wow, actually that's not bad. It actually spread it really well. Oh, okay, I'm really impressed. I normally wouldn't think to use a brush like this, because like I said, I feel like it would take too long, but that did a really good job. Alright, moving on to the Studio series of brushes, I'm going to be using the Tapered Cheek. This is the number S510 brush, and this is a $14 brush. It is described as a medium universal face brush that we love to use with blush and a bronzer to make cheekbones pop. So again, this is not a typical style brush that I would think to use with my contour or bronzer or anything like that. It does have this tapered kind of angled brush head that kind of, I feel like, could really get into the hollows of your cheek. So maybe it might surprise me like the other brush did, but let's go ahead and give it a go. I could already tell I don't really like the way this is placing product. It's the point's nice, but then it's just a little bit too long and fluffy to really get that precise, kind of like chiseled like the other side. I just feel like it's kind of like sloppily. Maybe I'm doing a little bit too much pressure, but I feel like it's just sloppily placing color, and I'm not here for that. In all honesty, I just wouldn't use this type of brush for this kind of application. That doesn't mean it's a bad brush, it's just not how I would use this brush. I would actually use this brush. This would be the size of brush, maybe a little bit smaller of a brush, but close to this size of brush and this fluffiness, this density to set under my eyes. Actually, I think this brush would be perfect for setting under my eyes. And I don't think this is doing a terrible job. It's just, it's not my preference. I'm not loving the way it's, I don't know, it's just too fluffy, to do something a little bit more dense, to kind of be a little bit more controlled, if that makes sense. So it's not a bad brush, just not one I would use for this specific job. All right, so here's what they both look like. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to know what you guys, think worked better, looked better. Which one would you most prefer to use for contour bronzer? I'm actually really surprised that I liked the Artisan Luxe brush more than I thought I would. And I have to say, I really don't like the tapered cheek brush for this at all. I think I would definitely use it for setting under my eyes. I think that would be great, but I would not, again, use this for this. I feel like this side of my face now is looking a little bit of a mess. All right, I did go ahead and just kind of somewhat fix this side a little bit with the Artisan Luxe brush. I don't know if it looks really that much better or not, but I do have somewhat place to go, and I just didn't want my face to be splotchy, so I have somewhere to be later this evening, so I just want my face to look, decent, not like I was using two different brushes on my face. So moving on to cheek or blush, I'm gonna be using the Balm's Hot Mama blush. And for my right side, I'm gonna be using the Artisan Luxe brush, their angled brush, the L312 brush. This is a $15 brush, and this says it's great for contour and blush, a perfect tool to enhance your cheekbone. I really prefer tapered angled brushes for both my blush and my contour. So this is what I would have more preferred for contour than the other one, but I also use angled brushes for my blush as well. So I will say that I do typically prefer something a little bit fluffier though for my blush, not so dense, so we shall see how this goes. Okay, that's actually quite lovely. It definitely doesn't allow me to really pack a punch with blush, which is probably a good thing because I always go crazy with my blush, but I'm gonna go ahead and dip back in just to see. Okay, and it gives a really nice soft application. Very nice. I'm not mad at it at all. I think it went on lovely, but I do think I would prefer this with my bronzer instead, but it did a nice job. So now for the Studio Series, I'm going to be using the Duo Fiber Small Powder Brush. This is the S305 brush. This one is a $12 brush, and it says beautiful for adding subtle color to the cheeks with both cream and powder products. Oh, that's pretty. I feel like this one is definitely showing up more of the shimmer in the blush, not as much of the color. So I'm getting more of that sheen rather than the color. So I'm just gonna pack a little bit more onto the brush and apply. Oh, and I think that's so pretty. I'm sure you can tell that this is giving a lot more sheen and glow to my skin compared to the other side of my face. And I actually think I like it better. I'm surprised because the shape of this brush is a little bit smaller and more tapered than I would think to use with for a blush, but I really am pleasantly surprised with how I'm liking this and how I'm liking how it applies. Oh, it just looks lovely. I definitely think I prefer this side way better than the other side and way better than the other brush for blush at least. So that's my thought, but you guys go ahead and weigh in and share which brush you like better, which application you like better, which side you think looks best. All right, just really quick, I need to fix this other side. It's gonna drive me nuts. I need to have even sheen on both sides, but I'm just letting you know. All right, so the last thing I have for face is highlight. So what I did is go ahead and set my face with the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. That way I had my face set the way I like before applying highlight. And for highlight, I'm gonna be using the Makeup Forever Pro Light Fusion, and I'm going to be using the gold one today. Now for the Artisan Luxe side, I'm going to be using their fan brush, which is the L314 brush, which is specifically for highlight. This is an $11 brush, and it says ideal for highlighters, blushes, and bronzers, a must for strobing, SZ Squad favorite. I don't think I would ever think to use a fan brush for bronzer and blush. That's interesting, but I definitely know that it's good for highlights, so that's what we're going to use it for. All right, and it's applying highlight just like a fan brush you would expect a fan brush to apply. I don't feel like it's anything special than any other fan brush, although I do have a couple other fan brushes, and my preference is one that's a little bit bigger and a little bit fluffier, a little less stiff, and just a lot more soft. And it's actually a synthetic fan brush, and so I do actually feel like I prefer that a little bit more, because it's just a little bit less stiff, and then also I feel like disperses the highlight a little bit more, so it's not so like stark, or I don't know if that's the right word, but it's just a more dispersed and looks a little bit more natural with the fluffier brush. But this is doing a good job, it's not bad. And for the Studio series, I'm going to be using their specific highlight brush for my highlight. And this is the S509 brush. This is a $12 brush, and it says a favorite for highlight, contour, or setting your makeup. Another Stilazzi Squad favorite. So Stilazzi Squad loves highlighting, clearly, as do most of us. So that's neat. This is also one kind of similar to the one I used for my contour on this side, just a little bit smaller, and I agree this would be really great for setting under the eye, but we are going to use this for highlighting, so let's get to it. Okay, and I gotta say, I think I prefer this side again once more. It just diffused the color a lot softer, but also gave, I feel like, a more blinding application and result, like in comparison, and it just feels softer. I really like this one. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I'm so surprised at myself, because like I said, I usually lean towards natural brushes, but I'm surprising myself. I'm learning all kinds of new stuff about myself here by doing this, and I hope it's helping you guys learn too. So again, same thing, you know the drill. Vote on which one you liked best, which application side did you think looked best, which is your preference for using, and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's it. I do think that this video is pretty long, so I am going to go ahead and break it up. We will just do the face for this video, and I hope you guys will stay tuned for the next video using the eye brushes, because there are several brushes for the eyes, and I do want to do an eye tutorial using those. Again, we'll do a little bit of a battle from one collection to the next to see which one I like better, which ones, you know, just work the best, and just give me the opportunity to try as many brushes as I can in one tutorial, in one sitting. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed it being interactive, and I really hope that you guys share your feedback and your thoughts on these brushes and the application and things like that. I hope you guys were able to learn a few things, and just that you found this video helpful and informative overall. I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder, and I really like this side of my face the best, which is the Studio series collection. So I am really even surprised at myself that I'm liking the synthetic brushes way more. It might be a different story with the eyes, because a lot of my preference for eye brushes are natural hair brushes, but we shall see. Now, even though I do like this side better, I think both sides are an amazing quality, and I also love that they provide both types of brushes. So if you're looking for some that are you know, vegan, cruelty-free, synthetic brushes but still perform amazingly, you're gonna have that. But if you're someone who prefers natural hair brushes that won't break the bank, because we all know that the natural hair brushes tend to be a little bit more expensive, I feel like these are really affordable. And so now you guys got to see both both of them in action and learn a little bit more about these brushes and this brand. So I really hope you guys found this enjoyable. Oh, and lastly, really quick before I go, I do just want to mention that there were a couple brushes for the face that I did not use in this video, but I still want to let you guys know about them. So I am going to go ahead and insert some clips of them up close, let you know the names, the prices, and the description. So the first brush is from the Artisan Luxe collection. This is the Strobe L307 brush, and this one is a $15 brush, and it is a multi-use brush to contour, highlight, or set makeup. And again, this says it's an SC Squad favorite. Oh, and this one actually feels really nice. This one I think probably would have been a lot more comparable than to use the fan brush. I think I would have liked this a little bit more. Also, again, this I think would be the same kind of brush that I think I would love for setting under my eyes. It just would be perfect. So this might have been a lot more comparable to the highlight brush I used on this side of my face. So there's that. I just didn't even see that. I beelined right for the fan brush. The last two brushes were from the Studio series, which, like I said before, had a lot more brushes in it, a lot more brush options in it, which is really nice. So up first is the Kabuki Dome Shader. This is the S400 brush. This is a $10 brush, and this says precisely sculpt and shape the face with cream and liquid products. Now this is a super tiny guy. I don't know if I would necessarily use it myself for sculpting the face. Maybe if I were using it just to apply cream products, or maybe on my nose, or maybe even just using it as a precise concealer brush to really kind of dab on concealer, but I don't know if I would use it for contour or anything like that. It's a super small brush, but it's a really nice one. And then lastly is the Duo Fiber Mini Blender. This is the S302. This is an $11 brush, and it says soft multifunctional brush used to apply, stipple, and blend cream and liquid products. And this is just kind of like a flat kabuki brush, but it's duo fiber and a lot smaller. This one I think would be really nice for really precise application of concealer as well, but with a lot more of a blended diffused look. And so anyways, that is the last of the face brushes from both collections, and I just wanted to let you know about them even though I didn't use them. And with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead in this video. Stay tuned for the eye brush demo video, and just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes.